was looked into.
Do you want us to wait until we get to that portion?
I can't wait, that's why I'm doing it now. I'm with the fire company and I'm running a blood drive at the Dublin Firehouse tonight. And as an aside, I would ask you all to consider giving blood. In the summertime, there's a critical need because of more accidents and more activity of people out and about. But I do have to get back. So that's why I was wanting to get information at the beginning of the meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Loeffler, would you want to address anything regarding that? The abatement, if you'd like. Please.
Mr. Healy, I've had a asbestos supervisory certification for many years. I don't anymore, but I did for many years. Part of our training for floor tile, asbestos floor tile, is it's not friable. The only way you can get floor tile friable is with a power saw, grinder, drill. Removing it, even breaking it. One thing they continue to tell us, the question was, how many times do you have to break asbestos tile before it's friable? You can't. Again, you need a power instrument to make it friable. The removal procedure is going to be with chemical, so they're just going to pop right out. Those areas will be under containment, and they will be air monitored prior, during, cleanup, and after cleanup. I've done many floor tile abatements, and again, there's no friable in that. Now, if you're talking about pipe insulation, things like that, encapsulation is a good idea at times. Putting floor tile on top of floor tile at Bedminster, we'd have two problems. One, it'd be extremely bumpy, because those floor tiles are. And two, they're already starting to remove here and there and all over the place. So anything we put down is going to pop up with the tile that is already popping up. That's the reason we're removing it. It's seen at the end of its life. It's 50 plus years old, and they're starting to just lift off. As far as floor tile on top of floor tile, never heard about it, nor has any school that I've ever dealt with.
So we didn't contact anyone else to get an opinion, a second opinion, as to what would be the best way to handle the tiles at Bedminster.
I have had this discussion with my environmental consultants on whether that's feasible. In the school, we are under the HERA plan, which every 6 months we have to do an inspection of all the buildings. With that, we have a master plan of where all the asbestos is. It's my consultant's responsibility to come around with us in the 3-year plan and say, if they can find anything that they would suggest needs removal. And again, it can be in boiler rooms, it doesn't have to be removed. But when they see something that should be like Bedminster floor tile, they suggested that it be removed by chemical under containment.
So the chemical is to loosen the adhesive?
Correct.
And then you pry them up after that?
Correct.
Sounds like it's going to be disturbing the asbestos. The other question I had relative to the cost, at Guth, new tile replacement is listed here at about $6,000. And the cost for Guth asbestos removal is $4,800. So they're kind of comparable in price, whereas in Bedminster, the cost of the new tiles are $31,000, and the removal of the old asbestos tiles is close to $50,000. How come there's such a wide disparity between the two?
I really can't answer that. We went out to bid, so we received bids on that, so bids are bids.
Bids are what they are.
Bids are what they are.
You can't
You can't change bid. I cannot negotiate.
You don't have to accept the bid. You could ask the same person who bid on both jobs, how come at Guth, the price for replacement is fairly close to the price for removal, whereas in Bedminster, new tiles are $31,000 and the removal is $50,000. That's a wide swing on costs, and minimally, I would expect that you would have asked why it's so costly relative to the replacement cost at Bedminster, and had an answer for that, other than saying, well, that's the bid. I mean, you don't have to accept that bid.
The board does not have to accept that bid, but I'm not allowed to have those conversations until the board discusses it and approves or disapproves. I can't go out and start talking to contractors about their bids while we're in the process. It's against policy.
Well, where does that leave us with getting a answer on why there's such a disparity between the two costs?
Well, Mr. Healy, you're referring to the cost of the removal or the cost of the tiles themselves?
I'm saying that the replacement tiles are $31,000 and the removal is $49,000. Whereas at Guth, new tiles are $5,900 and to remove the old ones at Guth is $4,800. So what I'm saying is that the removal costs and the replacement seem to be very close to one another at Guth, but not at Bedminster. You're talking about $50,000 versus $31,000. So my question would be, why is there such a disparity of pricing when it comes to Bedminster?
Well, it may, as Mr. Loeffler said, it has to be placed out for bid. So we can look at the bids further, but in terms of having an exact answer for you right at the moment, I do not, sir.
Okay, when might that be available? Is that at the full board meeting, or?
I could ask Mr. Loeffler further after the meeting if I can get some clarification and get back to you.
Okay, that's fine.
That's okay?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, thank you.
Good luck with your blood drive.
Thank you.
All right, so then we'll go on to item number 1, summer 15 project update.
See you in the funny papers.
The stadium project is underway. We're about 2.5 weeks underway. Security fencing is up all around the job site. The phase 1 water line is complete. It's under pressure right now. Once the pressure is inspected, we will then clean the pipe and fill it. Once it's filled, it will actually go to the Department of Health to be tested. And once it's tested, that part will be open and they continue on phase 2 of the water line. We're going to be starting the stormwater basin in the parking lot very shortly. And also they'll be going up on the field and removing topsoil for the field house. So that's what we're seeing right now for the next week. That's all. I'm sorry, I can move on to the operations boiler. UGI has installed the gas line to our building that was at no charge. So we have a gas line to the building. The boiler is going to be demoed starting Thursday and Friday. And again, as we said before, we're expecting probably a $6,000 to $8,000 savings yearly in fuel from oil to gas, natural gas.
Do you want to continue through with this?
Well, speaking of natural gas, Mrs. Johnson and I work closely with MREX. There are consultants for our utilities, and we're going to be locking in, or we have locked in until May of 2017 at a low, very low gas rate. We had the choice of watching the market and playing with the market and maybe buying 4 months here and buying 4 months there. And we could have gambled a little bit and possibly saved a few dollars. We could have gambled a little bit and possibly lost a few dollars. So we felt it was safe, along with a couple other schools, to lock in at this very low price. The savings that we should see being locked into 2017 is above $175,000 for what we're using now. So it seems to be pretty good. Okay. Keep going.
You want to continue, right?
I will.
Okay.
Review facility bids and RFPs. So the first one I have up is district-wide HVAC filters. And we sent out 8 and received 1 bid back. On April 21st, sealed bids were open, and I'd like to recommend Tridem filters for a base bid amount of $22,956.70. Tridem has been the winner of the bid for 7 of the last 8 years. It's the person we've been using. Flip over to the next one. Lamson Dallas. We sent out 10 proposals, received 3 back. On April 21st, bids were open. This is bid number 16112. And I'd like to recommend Queen City for the base bid amount of $21,236.26.
Mr. Loeffler, before you go on,
Yes.
Mr. Jordan has a question regarding the first.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering, since we only received 1 bid, how do we know that that's a good price?
Well, it's, like I said, for the past 7 out of 8 years, they have been our low bid. People are no longer bidding. It's a discussion I've been having with Mrs. Johnson. You'll see throughout these bids that we are receiving 1 bid. A couple of reasons. A lot of schools are going with co-stars, and a lot of these vendors are selling co-stars, so they don't want to spend the time putting the bid bonds and the paperwork for bidding when they can bid to other schools through co-stars.
So how does this price compare to CoStar's then?
Well, this is not co-stars. I'm just speaking about some of the other bids we're going to see. A lot of the other vendors who have been losing the same bid to us over the last 7 years are doing the same thing. I'm not bidding anymore because it's too much paperwork. And I put a bid bond together, insurance, to put out a bid that I know I'm going to lose. And we've been seeing this slowly over the years. Vendors stop bidding. And I talked about that last year, and we're going to show it again today. Now, that particular bid, I've been give or take a few fillers because it's district-wide. They're very comparative last year, compared to the year before, which the year before we did have 2 or 3 bids. So we're still in the neighborhood of 2 and 3 years ago with some other bidders, but people aren't bidding anymore.
Is this something that is available to purchase through CoStar's?
Something we can look into if we get permission to start bidding co-stars. I can look into it next year.
Isn't CoStar's just that there's a price that's available for the whole state that you don't, I mean, you may have to go through a process to acquire, but can't you see the prices on the CoStar's?
Yes, I'm just not sure if filters are co-star item. Vehicles are, and carpeting is, and
Okay.
a lot of things are. I've just never looked into co-stars because the board has always said go out to bid for these items, which is the old standard way of purchasing.
Okay. Is it possible to check if it's on CoStar's before our meeting and just see what the comparative price is, just to look, so we have that information?
I can, very difficult because we're talking about
Very specific.
thousands of different sizes of very specific filters. It's just not 5,000 20 by 20s. It's 1,000 different sizes, makes and models. So
Okay,
that
well,
particular
then
item
it's-
is difficult.
Okay, that's
Other-
fine.
other
I think
items.
it's not a good use of your time, but that's fine.